Okay, I don't know if y'all have noticed this yet, but they're putting our driver's licenses together differently than they used to. Our driver's licenses, they're starting to put, apparently, you can get two types of driver's license, and one is with an RFID chip in it. I'm thinking it's the RFID chip they're putting in it. It's called the Real ID. Um, but one of them is a Real ID, and one is the not Real ID, or the standard driver's license. But I was shocked when I went to get my driver's license renewed that they had that option of the RFID chip to get on planes and whatnot. Um, so that kind of lets you know that they're tracking you if you get on planes and go onto government bases. They're at least tracking you there by means of your license. Um, so basically they're using your license to follow you around and to make sure you're where you need to be in those cases. But I believe before long they're going to use it to follow us around in any way they can, and that's leading right up to always having an RFID chip on you. Like they're using our cell phones right now to track us against this horrible disease. They're using cell phones, and they're using apparently now your driver's license. So anyway, they're covering where you're going, which would be extremely useful. The contact tracing and all that is even more useful than you think if you trace where every single person goes. So you would know every single person if they were sick that they couldn't leave their house, and they could make that a law basically that if they told you you had to stay in your house and not leave, that you had to do that because you were infected or whatever with the virus. Um, but that's kind of what they might do. Because if you the thing that is missing on that is the fact is contact tracing can't trace the asymptomatic cases, the ones that don't have showing that aren't showing signs. They can't trace that, but after they quarantined you, they sure could trace you. They could trace everybody that's supposed to be healthy at that point that's been quarantined, um, and they could trace the healthy people and find out very quickly if they were sick again. Why they were sick again. They could find out where this person's been or whatever. But there shouldn't be, like, they could make it to where, like, in cities or something, that you're relatively safe because no one has come around you that's had the coronavirus that hasn't been quarantined. So they could like trade information to where if you wanted to cross the state line, you could, because you've all been quarantined and they've all been quarantined, to where they know that if you enter that state that you don't have the virus, and they know that if someone from their state enters your territory that you don't have the virus. So it kind of helps in the case where people have already been quarantined. It doesn't help with these travelers who just travel state to state and don't pay any attention to the fact they may be asymptomatic carriers. Um, but it looks like it's a good way to trace the quarantine people anyway, and to say uh, to make deals on trade and whatnot. You can trade with people if you can get into their territory, or you can drive up there and buy something from them. But they're probably going to keep on track of your purchases and everything else. Like if you're in the wrong spot, they're going to GPS satellite you. They're going to know that you broke quarantine or whatever like that. So that's a major good thing that it will do for us, is know that if you broke quarantine or not. Um, but it sounds kind of like martial law there. It sounds more like the government is watching you at all times, so you must do what they say. Now in America, they want us to be free, but they make a lot of recommendations for us to do, and we really ought to be following those, because if we don't, they can always come back and be like, this RFID chip is required because you're breaking the quarantine, the laws or whatever about the quarantine, and you're deliberately spreading. and people could deliberately be spreading it too. That's the sad part. But anyway, I think they're doing their best, but it's scary because it leads to definite microchip worries. So